And welcome everybody to First Cut with Ash Slimmer, Carm Mushroom, Doug, and Spartan. Kind of a finale podcast here after the Season 10 RBC World Series. How are my co-hosts doing?
I'm doing swell today.
We are having a baller of a day.
Yo, Ash, why'd you name me last, dog? That's kind of racist.
And there it is.
And there it is. That is final host. That is I, Spartan's I. Notice I said final host.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yeah, okay, nice.
End of the line. Back of the pack.
Great start.
Omega.
Bro, honestly, out of all the ways to end the season, the way to do it is just change Ash's name to Ash Slimmer.
Yes.
I think so. We should,
Ash Jammer, Ash Slammer, all of them.
Whatever
Absolutely
you
wonderful.
prefer to say.
I mean, Ash, you can just feel good that, you may have never won a ring, but at least you got a cool nickname.
Absolutely.
You're up there with Sweeney Boy and
Tiny Best Stephen Curry, my
Come on.
man. My man.
That's illustrious. That's an illustrious group right there, bro.
Yes,
Don't
sir.
give me
Of
Absolutely.
course.
So what's the first thing on the docket tonight, boys?
Well, I mean, I honestly didn't even write up a script for what we're doing tonight. I really wanted it to just be a free-flowing thing. We're going to have some guests on throughout the show. Honestly, we're just going to add them as we see fit. Like, we'll definitely have the guests. I'm just saying we're going to add them throughout when we deem it necessary to add some guests. But I really wanted it to just be a free-flowing thing, kind of have a farewell where, we're all just vibing. Exactly, Chris. You
Yes,
stole
sir.
the words out of my mouth, bro.
Dog.
Well,
Hey,
I think
can I start
Sure.
off this stream by saying, congratulations to Anthony Davis for officially being the best power forward of all time.
I mean, I would heavily debate that, bro. Carl Malone still.
Hey,
He's
yo,
got
he
the-
touched
he's got
his
the
little finger, bro.
stats.
You can't be talking about that.
Nah, bro,
Yeah,
that's
let's
MJ.
let's keep
Anthony
let's keep that to
Lopez.
the Spartan Carm basketball podcast, the lowest grossing podcast on the RBN docket. But anyway,
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the first thing we should talk about here is the World Series that just happened and just the playoffs as a
Well,
whole.
Yeah.
Well, hold on. I don't want to go too off topic real quick, but we were having this discussion right before. All right, everybody that's watching, stay in the comments. Which was the better podcast? My podcast, First Cut, or the Ash and Spartan podcast?
Bro, everyone's gonna say, bro, that's not even
Be sure to
Bro,
vote for the podcast that had more than 3 episodes and brought you coverage from seasons 8, 9, and 10 alongside
Nah.
the RBAA season. So
Nah,
Yeah,
bro,
we're
vote
gonna
for the
have to,
podcast that didn't take an hour out of your life to just watch it, bro.
Bro, literally, we streamed.
That's true. I did have to go back and sit through a whole hour and a half.
Yo, look
Just a
at this, look at this, bro.
podcast.
Look at the chat.
yeah, look at the chat right now. We have a unanimous Ash and
Yeah,
Spartan
the
podcast
sound is
vote right
cutting.
here.
Max says the sound is cutting.
Hold on, I gotta
Yo,
make
just
sure
because
everything's-
just because Fox Sports just says it 3 times. Oh, it doesn't verify it.
Bro, what?
Oh fuck.
Yeah.
YouTube is
Yeah.
having some issues. I'm gonna turn up my bit rate. Hopefully that fixes it.
Shut your mouth, buddy. Shut your mouth.
Bro, I'm being robbed right now.
Carm, it's the truth, though.
I think the populace has spoken.
Yeah, man. I'm sorry.
Alright.
We were
Alright.
latecomers, Carm, so.
Bro, once Cyber says it, it's over. Cyber officially said it.
True.
Damn. Alright.
If
Alright.
Cyber speaks, it's final.
You gave Cyber his nickname, bro. How did you give
Cyber Strike Force?
Yeah.
Oh
how
my
did-
God.
He was so. You're like his best friend, and now it's all out because he said ours podcast was better.
What, bro? Bro, I just remember that was on like your podcast.
That was on our podcast too.
Yeah, exactly.
Bro, I was unbelievably slapped on that podcast.
We were-
Just
we
that
were
Cy-
all
with
aware of
Cyber
that,
Strike Force.
This is so obvious.
Bro, but you know what? I think that was one of the best podcasts we had.
Probably. But
Alright.
anyway, let's just look through this playoffs that we had. So, starting off with the divisional series, West Virginia swept Ohio to absolutely nobody's surprise. Ohio put up a fighting game too, but wasn't really enough. Unionport kind of put the hammer down on the Cougars, 3-0 win for them as well. Kind of surprising to quite a few people, though. The Cougars were definitely a solid squad compared to Ohio. What were y'all's thoughts on the division series?
I mean, I think it ultimately, the favorites of each series won. That being, Unionport definitely was just a stronger team overall because RBC lacked the depth. They had 2 great players in Squeaker and Chris, but 2 players.
And the best
ultimately-
hype man in the league. We had Max.
Oh, my bad. And Maximus, of course. But ultimately, 1 great hype man and 2 great players will not beat a team where their outfield is literally going to
Stacked.
destroy anybody that hits in the field.
Yeah, it was pretty one-sided. I would have liked to have seen more competition and it go
Yeah.
probably game 4 and 5. But it is what it is, and UPS definitely deserved that win, and they fought well for that.
Yeah.
Yeah, being the RBC owner, like, you know, it was disappointing to lose 3-0, but I feel like even though the things that we did, I feel like we did a good job keeping up what we could, you know, because it's like there was an obvious difference between UPS and RBC, and it's kind of showed on paper, and you know, and I'd really expect us to, you know, make it to the next round and all. I just wanted to put up the best fight we could, and which we did. We had a lot of people who, you know, weren't big names or weren't even like major names at all come up and show out. We had like Noku come out, you know, put us up 3-0 against the Suns in game 2, I believe, or game 1. We lost that because, you know, some dodgy pitching by me, of course, and you know, I think a lot of players on our team pulled their weight, which was good to see on the offensive side, but on the defensive side, we were just so not well put apart like the UPS was, and it kind of showed in the scoreboard.
Yeah. I mean, also West Virginia, their RLDS was kind of just, you know, everybody expected it, but I mean, the one thing that I didn't expect was Ohio managing to score 3 runs. I thought it was just going to be a complete sweep in terms of scoring too.
Hey, I was pleasantly surprised how Ohio turned out, because like they had a really rocky season, losing Smogan as team owner, and then kind of rebuilding mid-season, or pretty much the whole season. But towards the end, they actually started producing more and getting it on, but it was kind of late, and they didn't have enough umph.
Yeah, kudos to 97 Savage and all those boys who, you know, not really, they were like new guys going on RBA. Hey, kudos to all those guys for winning games, even taking a game off RVC, man. And
Yeah.
I'm really proud of that team. You know, they didn't flop. I mean, sorry, I didn't say flop, but you know, they didn't really fall apart like many expected to. Like the Bullets did. They kind of like, you know, fell apart, but they kind of glued back together after a while, which is pretty impressive.
Yeah, for sure. In terms of the RLCS and MLCS, what do you guys think of that?
I'll let you guys do the RLCS, and then I'll put my stuff on the MLCS.
Yeah, I'll do the same.
I mean, Doug, I believe that's you, dog. You were in there, so I guess.
Let's see.
Look,
What was that final? It was so long ago. I don't
It was
remember.
3-1.
3-2?
3-1.
3-1. Sorry.
Who took game 1?
West Virginia.
West Virginia won game 1, Charlotte game 2. West Virginia won the next 2.
Oh, we're talking about I thought we were talking about the ML. My bad.
No, the
No.
RLCS.
My bad.
RLCS. Sorry. Going into the playoffs, I definitely knew West Virginia was the team to give the Bandits a run for their money. I kind of actually expected the series to be closer, given the Bandits' history. And this wasn't the strongest Bandits team we've seen, but I definitely think they could have put up a better fight. It seemed like they were, I don't know. From what I remember, they had a lot of fielding errors and missed throws.
Yeah.
That kind of screwed them and cost them over multiple games, actually.
I mean, I don't want to sound like too cocky here, but I think Ash can somewhat agree to an extent that I think I was one of the biggest problems for Charlotte, because in game 2 or game 3, I shut down their batting essentially through pitching, and then in the next game I hit a grand slam, which ultimately sealed the 6-2 victory. Had I not hit it, it would have gone into extras, and who knows what would have happened.
But I think not only that, but if I'm wrong, Ash, could you correct me here? I believe AJ was missing that series, was he not, or a good portion of that series?
No,
he was
came to
there.
two.
He just didn't really perform, and that's the thing. A lot of the pitching just wasn't really up to scratch as compared to the regular season. In the regular season, Charlotte had probably the statistically best pitching force in the league, with Wow, AJ, and myself all putting up really, really solid numbers, but it just kind of wasn't there. And I mean, some of it sure was errors, but a lot of the things that really put us down in games ended up being those untimely home runs.
That's true. I'm surprised. You only pitched like 1 or 2 games throughout the season, Ash. Like, you didn't put yourself in at all.
Yeah, that was just part of my choice. I mean, I just didn't want to pitch Game 3. It just didn't seem like a thing I wanted to do.
Right.
And then I chose not to pitch Game 4 because I didn't want to win Game 4 by pitching and then just get killed in Game 5 because it was Carm versus not me.
Yeah.
Because at that point it would have been that. And I'd rather go down in 4 in a close fight in Game 4 than go down in 5 after getting killed in Game 5, like we saw on the other side of the bracket.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But-
And
Overall, it was a decent series, but kind of subpar from what I expected going into it.
Just not really enough production from a lot of the Charlotte lineup past the first couple hitters.
yeah, I think the best series though was the MLCS purely because that one was the only one that actually took up all the games needed, and on top of that, it was a 2-0 lead, and Nash managed to come back and bring it to Game 5 after winning the previous two, but not sure what happened in that final game after keeping it close and then just getting absolutely obliterated.
Well, I
But-
feel like that Game 5 thing was a long time coming. We saw Unionport win both of their games by multiple runs. It was solid margins. They weren't falling. But when NAS won their games, they were both nail-biters, close finishes. I just didn't think they had it left in the tank. I mean, they really pushed all of their energy in Games 3 and 4. I didn't think they could do it for Game 5. So when I saw an 11-3 final score, I was completely unsurprised.
Yeah. But I think not only that, but Nas was a team coming into the games where everyone thought, I know at the time we had a 3-way tie, I believe, right? One game going into the one game into before the playoffs, correct? And Nas was one of
Yeah.
those where everyone was
We had to win out in order to take the number 1 seed.
So
Yo, it's
basically,
also
they
the
were-
stream is buffering for some people.
I'm not sure why that's
Okay.
happening.
It was fine for me when I was looking.
But Nas was a team where they almost looked unsure, maybe a little bit, because they came off. I believe that first game they lost against Charlotte, and that next game they really needed to win because they had RVC and UPS right on their tail. So if they would have lost that game, pretty much I believe, if I'm not wrong, UPS would have got the first seed, and then NAS and RVC would have been playing in the third in the MLDS. But overall, I think it was a great show from NAS, especially after the convincing beatdown that they put on RVC. And when you think of RVC, I mean, when you look at the standings, you think, oh, NAS is gonna get beat down like UPS, like RVC, because UPS just beat down RVC like this. So what's gonna happen with NAS? And everyone's thinking like, oh yeah, it's gonna be like 3-1. It's not gonna be close. But NAS Doug, as he couldn't do time and time again, just shows up, man. He rallies his forces together and they just put up performances. And it's a thing that he does so remarkably.
What really killed us, at least in my opinion as the team owner, was we lost activity going into the playoffs, and we were missing most of our key players like Giant, Guest Rizzo, and Caden. Caden, I don't think he might have only showed to 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
If that, I think it was only 1.
I
So
think
we were playing with most of our 3 stars, 2 stars, and 1 stars, which they held their own weight. But we were definitely missing those key players that would have pushed it for us.
I think one of the big names definitely that just needs to be remembered from that series is Penhead Larry.
Yeah,
He was
carried us. Well, he didn't
Yeah.
carry us, but he
Well-
was definitely my second man.
well.
He
the
was
thing
he,
that-
he was part of the victory in
Well-
Game 4. I remember that
Yeah.
specifically.
Well, for me, the biggest thing to note about him was that he is the only player from the RBAA draft that actually managed to transition to the major leagues and produce at a sufficient level and stayed with his team.
That wasn't an old Jenner.
Right?
Yeah. So no old Jenner actually went into
Yeah,
the RBAA draft. They all went into the RBC draft.
Oh, you're talking about the people who.
Oh, yeah,
like
I'm
the
talking
minor
about
leaguers.
Yeah, I'm talking
Yeah.
round 3 and after. So like from that on, like he was the only player that made it that was drafted after round 2 and
Yeah.
stayed and still managed to make a professional team, which
Because
I
we
give
actually
a lot of
we
props.
traded for Penhead Larry. I don't remember what minor league team, but we traded for him.
No,
the
you
next
drafted him.
Yeah,
Penhead
you're
Larry
right.
was
No, you're
drafted
right, we did
25th
draft him.
overall to Newport. Another
Right.
Yeah.
player that I think you're kind of overshadowing, though, was Kicker. While he didn't stay with the team, he was drafted originally to the Mountaineers Dev Squad. He definitely did make a big impact on the Ohio Warhawks late season, and he ended up with better stats than a lot of the full-time players. So,
Yeah. But not only him, kudos to UPS as well for getting not even affiliate drafts, but Auburn as well. I believe he was in the affiliate draft as well, correct?
No.
Aubrey
wasn't
was drafted
late-
in round 2.
If
he
they,
was late
if
round
they
two.
if they're an old runner, they were drafted in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
I still think as a late second round pick, I think he still contributed a good amount, especially in that outfield too.
Well, I think something to remember was a lot of teams were he just like didn't show to RBAA, so a lot of teams were just questioning was he actually going to be active too,
Yeah.
which is why he fell so far.
And that kind of brings on a point that I'm going to go over once we get to the World Series, but
I mean, I say we just take it right there.
yeah, let's
James.
just move
Yeah,
along
let's
right here.
start.
So I'll just go game by game real quick. 3-2 West Virginia game 1, very close game 1 at BB&T. Then the Suns took game 2 4-0. I wasn't there for that one, and then the Suns took the next 2 both at Ames Field. And then game 5, another close-ish victory by the Mountaineers to force a game 6, and then game 6 was another solid victory by the Suns at Ames Field. And honestly, that's something that we really need to look at. Ames Field was a big home field advantage for the Suns in the World Series, much more so than it was in the MLCS, but that's the thing that put them over the top. Their 3 victories at home are the things that won them the series, and that's the biggest thing that you notice on paper. But a 4-1 solid victory, or a 4-2 solid victory for the Suns in the World Series.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, not to discredit the Suns, even though yes, Ames is a hitter's field and it's really hard to pitch there. The team it was still able to go into away stadiums and still produce wins. So not take it away Ames Field. I think this team was still probably could win the World Series again.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that being used to that unique ballpark definitely did give them an advantage. And
True.
big kudos to Cyber SF really coming to life in late season and in the playoffs. Somebody we didn't really expect to see.
Yeah.
Cyber Strikeforce himself just kind of coming out of his shoes and leading that team a lot of the time.
And on top of that, I think one of the biggest assets for West Virginia was Cyber Strikeforce because, I mean, sure, we've had, infielders in the game before, but I think he really defined the necessity for it. And, like, in terms of, he really managed to show how important an infielder can be and how good they can be when they're efficient.
And I would say to an even further extent on the other side, we saw Weehawk absolutely killing it in the infield. He had
True.
multiple plays.
That's who I just said.
You said Cyber.
Oh,
Yeah,
I meant Weehawk.
Yeah.
Weehawk was absolutely killing it. He had multiple plays in the games that West Virginia did win. I remember Game 5 specifically. Weehawk made a double play that I don't think anybody else in the league could make consistently that really ended a rally for the Suns and gave West Virginia the victory that game. And, I mean, I would honestly argue, to an extent, Weehawk was more influential to the West Virginia's victories than Duke was. I didn't see Weehawk make a single error, and there were 3 or 4 different times in a lot of the games that I personally saw Duke make big errors that allowed the Suns to get momentum.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think Doug adding the infield
Infield
glove
glove.
was a really good improvement. We saw a lot more double plays, a lot more
Yeah.
a lot more wow factor, especially came to the league because we're not expected to see something like that. When we did see something like that, it was like very rare. Like we see it like once a season, but almost making it more. Every game you'll see a double play, or every day you see a throw from shortstop was almost welcoming. It made me excited.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
agree. The addition of some of these new tools really did help the pace of play.
Yeah.
Even with slowing down the outfield glove's walk speed, like it didn't seem to affect UPS's outfield that much.
Yeah, and a lot of people were acting like slowing down the outfield gloves would be doomsday for outfielding
really
in the
did.
RBC, and it
It
really
helped
just
a
didn't
little
affect.
bit, but yeah,
Like it helped raise the batting average of the league a little bit, but at the end of the day, wasn't that big of a change.
yeah.
Yeah. So Doug, I wanted to ask you a question. So at the start of the season, I know that we did star ratings last season, but this season I feel like it really was more dictative how based on really more dictative on how teams were formed and developed and really required embracing the 3 stars, 2 stars, and 1 stars, and especially the rookies.
Yeah.
So so we obviously made that to make the league more competitive. Do you think, or how would you compare season 10 to the prior seasons, and did it compare did it live up to your expectations in terms of competitiveness?
In terms of competitiveness, absolutely. It's exactly what I think myself and the board was looking for when we initiated the star system. It definitely got us the most competitive games. It kept most of the teams close together and competitive. Obviously, you still had teams like the Bullets who kind of folded early, and that's just because there are always going to be players who are just going to rage quit and just refuse to play, and it kills teams, sadly. It's still something we got to work on if there ever is another season.
Yeah.
But even just in any other league, you can work on it. But this was definitely a good season for competitiveness. For attitudes of the players and their actions, not so much.
Yeah. Doug, I mean, no pressure if you don't want to, but is there a statement that you would want to potentially give to the players, like an official statement from the commissioner?
So I guess I can give you reasoning as to why I'm kind of closing things now more than ever. It's mainly just because I personally need to take a break from RBC. As a leader, I don't know. I've come to a point in my life where I need to focus more on my future and setting myself up for success in my job and my career. Then I need to stop focusing on games such as Roblox and investing a lot of time. At this point, Roblox is more of a hobby for me. So having time to run a league of this size is becoming unfeasible. I would love to continue it, but I really just need a break to focus on setting myself up. So that's the main reason why I'm closing things down right now. That's not to say that things might not or won't change in the future, and I might decide to bring it back. But for all intents and purposes, I would consider the league closed. And if it comes back, consider it a surprise and enjoy it while it lasts. But if it ever does come back, it's a season by season basis because I cannot guarantee multiple seasons of the future. But for now, consider it closed.
Got you.
All right. So can I make one more point on the World Series real quick?
Of course.
So one thing that I noticed as a big difference maker, hold on. Oh, thank God the Braves didn't choke. They just won the game. Okay, sorry. Anyway, the one thing that I've noticed as a really big difference maker between these two teams is just chemistry. We saw just a lot of dissent in the Mountaineers compared to the Suns, and while there definitely wasn't perfect chemistry on the Suns, they definitely didn't have players on a regular basis just straight up talking garbage about their team owner after games, and just everything was just going wrong for that team in terms of chemistry. I'm honestly surprised they made it to 6 with how things were falling apart there. But, hi Josh. It can be said that he's really good at putting a team together, especially in this league, but in terms of keeping a team together, that's just... I can't see it. It hasn't happened in the past, and the fact that he made it this far this season is remarkable to me, especially knowing that. I think it kind of did help that a lot of the pieces for that team kind of came together in the late stages of this season.
Right.
Agreed.
Yeah,
He definitely made the right trade moves to boost his team because early on he did not have the stuff.
Yeah. I mean, ultimately, I think we should give, like, as much as we want to hate on Josh, I think we should give him some credit to, at least being able to build this team, even if there was some influence from myself and Broken, that the star limit kind of, like, coerced us to going there to an extent, but also just being able to develop the supporting cast as a whole. I think we should, give that some credit to an extent because, we managed to get Weehawk, we managed to get Ryan Pre, we ultimately managed to get pieces that proved vital throughout the series, and ultimately helped thrust West Virginia past Charlotte and put them in the World Series.
yeah. I think especially to be a successful team owner in RBC, it's two components. There's you gotta be smart first of all, and I think Josh for sure has the smarts, has the cunning ability, to do what needs to be done to make it run a successful team, as in trades, as in draft picks, as in putting in the proper work to make the best team possible. But again, the second part, you can make the best team possible, but if that team doesn't glue together, what is the team built for?
And that's what I'm saying.
You could have a. I've said I haven't owned the best teams ever, but I believe like especially like season 8 RVC was a good example. Not I don't want to gas myself, but I think it is a really good example of a team that really wasn't the best team. It wasn't even. I don't think it could compare stardom wise to any of the other teams that potentially went to the World Series, but the team chemistry is what brought that team together, and they were able to go so far and even make it to a World Series. And I think that even with that, team chemistry is a big important thing, especially when it comes to RBC teams.
Yeah, and I'm not discrediting Josh for building that roster. He did a really good
Oh,
job
not
with
at
that,
all.
but it's just the fact that he kind of brought that roster together and just kind of tainted it with the overall spirit of that team. It was just kind of win or die, and there was absolutely nothing that. It was just literally win or die, and I feel like that kind of created a really toxic playing environment for a lot of players, and I feel like that ultimately led to Carm's decision to just not show up to a lot of those World Series games.
Well, I mean, truthfully, if I'm gonna make a comment on that, it's not really about the chemistry. I could have cared less because ultimately, at the end of the day, Josh knew that he needed me, Broken, and Duke to all show, so he gave us that respect, knowing that if he was just gonna be a douchebag to us, then we weren't really gonna show. But ultimately, for me, my main goal was just making sure that you didn't get a ring, because
Wow.
that's the long-standing joke in the league. But on top of that, when the World Series started, that's really when my schoolwork started to pick up a little bit. And I'm in my senior year, and for me, right now my priorities are applying to college, making sure that my work is done, all that good stuff. And so there were times when the games were scheduled when I was working, and again, real life takes precedence over this game, and ultimately that was just the main factor that prevented me from being able to show was my duties in real life.
Absolutely. Yeah, I still feel like team chemistry played a big factor in the World Series loss for the Mountaineers, especially knowing or having insight with interviews from Broken and other Mountaineers players like JS. It just was not a fun environment to play in.
Well, I mean, if we're going to talk about JS, I think there was a lot that was happening with JS.
Oh yeah,
JS,
I mean it's a more complicated situation than High Josh, but it was him, Broken. I heard things from other players as well.
Are we talking about Tornado JS here?
No,
No.
123.
Here's the main thing that kicked it all off was JS. No disrespect to you, you're still my little homie. Last get ace of season 9 always, but the main problem was just that JS was complaining about his time, and we were trying to talk to him and be like, this is the World Series, we're trying to play our best players, we're trying to make sure that we can win, and during the RLCS too. But then he would kind of just go on these random tirades about we were talking about it, and then suddenly he just started talking about how there are people in the world who have no food and stuff. And we were like, bro, where are you getting this from, bro? This is so not relevant to the situation. And that really just kind of frustrated all of us, because we were like, what are you talking about, bro? This is not relevant to what we were talking about before. And so just the randomness of the arguments he was making was just really frustrating for us, and that was kind of a big thing that was hurting our chemistry, was just again, being competent as a team. But all right, I think we should move on to the next part, which is introducing our first guest, which is the big man, the big, chunky, sexy man, the man who's been here since season 2, I believe, and current co-commissioner, VX Parker.
What is up?
Yay!
How's everybody doing tonight?
I'm doing
We
swell.
are thriving.
Yeah, how are you doing, Mr. Co-commissioner?
I am doing really well. I'm
sound-
sitting here and just relaxing.
Yo, first
That's good to
question I
hear.
want to ask is, how's life, dog? You died literally.
He's been off the radar.
And nobody
Oh,
heard
school, man. School.
any other thing besides
That's
school.
a mood.
I heard you.
Whole change just like
bowling.
swept everything and just changed everybody's lifestyle.
Yo, how's bowling? How's all the other sports going?
I think they're doing well for him. I mean, man just went incognito in the call.
Yeah.
Facts.
What?
I was asking how was sports going? How's golf? How's bowling?
Are you good?
You
Bro, he's like, what? You say the question again, and he just fucking goes incognito again.
all right? We're just skip
Can you guys
that.
hear me
So,
alright?
Yo,
Yeah,
yeah,
Parker, we can hear you.
Okay.
We've
I just
been
skipped my
hearing
question.
you.
I asked it too much.
All right.
All right, Parker, is there anything that like you want to say, to the fans about like your experience, people you want to thank for your time in RBC?
Oh, that's a lot of people.
I mean, you can make it kind of brief, just like kind of just like a farewell
like-
type of thing.
I know Doug will laugh and joke about this, but when I first joined, I'm sure he remembers this
Yes, I do.
Oh Lord.
this conversation. I joined and I was like, because I was reading the group description because I knew somebody that was in this league. I don't know who it was, and I was like, hey, I seen you were looking for like security. And
Wait, was I there? Wait, was this at Bayside Park?
Yes, it was.
think
I was
so.
there too. That was the
Bayside.
same day I asked Doug to own a team.
It was at Bayside.
That was a really influential day in RBC history.
Oh yeah, 'cause I was like, can I be security?
Bro, I actually
And you were
remember
like,
this, bro.
well, we don't really have that.
This student really flew around
And
the
then
Lord.
I remember like the next couple of days I did an umpire tryout with him and Keaton, and I think it just skyrocketed. I think it just like, took off from there. It was a crazy start because like I was like a baseball umpire and what
Back when
Um,
Keaton was actually the best umpire in RBC.
when he actually showed up to like every game.
When he actually owned the Cougars. Remember when he owned the Cougars?
Remember when he played for the
Yeah.
Cougars?
I love seeing him play again after not having played for like years, and just seeing his rust. It's so funny.
Bro,
No,
I
but,
think
like-
not gonna lie, bro. I think
It was like
bro,
it's
Sorry,
been
go
like so long, and like every interaction I've made with people, it's just like it makes like every like moment I've had in the past like so great. Because I couldn't tell you how many people I've like interacted with this league.
Well, what would you
Like-
say was? My bad. Continue.
Like just like there's like so many things you can name, but like there's so many times and different like events that have happened.
Do you think that there was like or what would you say was your fondest memory of RBC?
I remember how hard I worked at like umpiring and moving up in that category. And when Doug like kind of first like introduced like the board of directors like idea and like it came to life, it like inspired me to like work a little harder at my position.
Do you think like I know that you were like kind of young when you first joined. Would you say that like it inspired you to work harder just within the league, or like was it something that you managed to take from the league and apply it to your life as a whole?
I mean, I think I kind of did both. Because I know if I've taken like real life experiences and used it in like this game, and then taken things from the game and used it in real life. Like I've taken experiences from each and used them on one another, and it's made a whole lot better and a lot easier on myself, progressing.
That's good to hear, big man. I'm happy for you.
any so
All
what,
of us have.
oh,
I'm
bro.
sorry, Spartan. You can go.
Oh, just more from Parker. Parker, since we just want to know, the people might maybe want to know what's the plans for the future, dog? 'Cause you just
can't hear.
You died again.
oh my
Alright.
Oh,
god.
I think you might
I'll
have
ask
Chris
it.
muted.
Oh, I haven't muted.
Oh my
Oh, that's why. Okay. Sorry, I didn't. Okay. Sorry, Chris.
I'm leaving, dog. I don't feel like talking anymore.
I was wondering, why you guys kept saying I was going incognito.
Yeah.
No, but the question was, so what are your plans after this is winding up. So what are your plans, future plans, man? Do you have any?
For like RB, like for Roblox or
No,
Just in
life.
general, just for life,
Life in
man.
general.
Well, I've been going to school to be a firefighter in EMS.
Ooh.
That's
Big
So
exciting.
man.
training on that has been very thorough for the last month.
Wow.
So I work on that. Obviously getting through school is a big key.
Mhm.
That's good.
Just
Yo,
trying to keep like a healthy mindset.
Of course, man. Keep at it, man. It sounds like a really important time in your life.
Mm-hmm.
All right,
Yes, sir.
Doug, you can go ahead now.
I was just gonna go back to the point of I think everyone who's been in a leadership position of any kind, whether it be team owner, umpire, or board of director and up, I think we've all learned something from RBC, and there's something we can take from what we've learned and apply it to real life. Like I personally have learned a lot of leadership skills from developing this group and throughout 5 years, and I've developed friendships with all of you guys.
Yeah.
And I don't think any of that would have happened if
No.
it wasn't for the league.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely say the same, especially about the leadership stuff. Without the things I've learned in this, I would not be in the position that I'm in right now with my own league and my leadership stuff in real life. Just everything's kind of built off of what I've learned in this league, and it's just great to have this as just an experience in my pocketbook.
And that's
Yeah.
probably one of the things I'm proudest about for ever having founded this is that it's affected so many people's lives for the better, I think.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I asked Parker the question, like, what was his fondest memory? I think it's justified if we all kind of just say it, and then for the future guests too, they can also say, and for those in the chat, you can say that as well, because I mean, I think we all had like very defining moments that helped, make this league special to us. That we've been in here since what, like 2015, 2016. I think we all have
Yeah,
something.
around there.
Yeah, and I mean, I definitely had a lot of really nice memories from the early seasons. I mean, one of the ones that sticks out to me specifically is bringing Peyton into the league and then him hitting a 3-run dinger right next to me in his debut game for Charlotte. But that was just kind of a small moment that I really remember. But I think the biggest thing for me personally is kind of getting RBAA to do exactly what it was meant to do, and just have that whole media firestorm of the combines, the draft declaration statements, and just getting that whole thing to work and work well in just the way it was intended to do. That was probably the thing I'm proudest of in this.
Yeah,
Or in conclusion, his nerdy documents.
Absolutely.
Back. Hey,
I mean,
The brains of
Parker,
RBC.
Oh, Parker, thank you for your time, dog. We got a
Yeah,
lot.
No problem.
joining
Yeah,
us.
thank you for coming on, Parker.
It's been fun.
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, boys.
Of course. I mean, personally, for me, I think my favorite moment was not like a favorite moment, but experience was. I forget who mentioned it, but just like the friendships as a whole. I'm sure a lot of you guys know. Like when I went to DC, when I was looking at George Washington University, I met up with Doug, and we were able to get some dinner together. Like
Sir.
like being able to just build a friendship off that, and actually applying it to real life where it's not just virtual, is very good. And then plus I'll probably be in DC anyway, so I'm sure Doug and I will meet up again, hopefully.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
being able to just have that experience in of itself, which hopefully the viewers and you guys, you all have that like one friend that you're real close with in the league, and hopefully that friendship continues beyond the league, and hopefully for several years after.
Yeah, I think like what are you saying? Like the friendships that not only I've made, but just the relationships I've talked to, the people I have. I believe that RBC has given me people, that I could come to, for the situations. Like I know I can come to some of these people that, even my fellow people I'm on the podcast with today with life issues, and they'll actually talk to me as if we weren't just we didn't meet online, like we were actually friends in person. Like even though we don't have the experience of seeing each other face to face, I can feel like I can come to them with almost anything, And I think that's what was important about. I think that was a good thing about RBC, developing those friendships.
Yeah, I mean, throughout, for me personally, through the years, like all my friend groups in real life have changed. That they've just been very dynamic in terms of who I've been friends with and my interaction socially. But the one thing that stayed constant is my friends on here. And even when it's been down in real life, I can always come back and be like, what, at least I still got
Yeah.
these guys.
Yeah, I feel the same.
All
Alright.
right. So now.
Now, yeah.
Oh, sorry. You want to do it? I wanted to switch it off because I.
Yeah, I mean, let's welcome on our next guest, the big man, the World Series champion, two-time champion, the big man himself, Arcadian Delta.
Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
How are you, my favorite taco man?
Whoa. You didn't talk to me, bro. Can't count out.
It is Tuesday.
It is Tuesday. Nah, I'm doing good right now. It's a little late, but
Eh, we
I
can deal with it.
want to make sure I could, talk with you guys on this last podcast.
Yeah, of course. I mean, get in here because I'm sure, a lot of people have very fond memories of the league.
Yeah, honestly, like, it's funny, man, because, I mean, everyone knows kind of like, it's almost as if, like, the league has kind of seen me grow up in a sense, because, like, it wasn't too long ago when, like, Spartan, him and a couple other dudes were watching my high school live stream of me graduating.
Bro, my son.
That's true.
Bro, Arbaugh's son, bro. I love that man, Los, bro.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy, like, how much information and everything like I've shared with you guys and all that.
Yeah.
And definitely have created some bonds, even when there was times where I'm pretty sure everyone was at each other's throats at one point or another.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, me and you, Losai, like we definitely have gone back and forth a little bit, but I mean, ultimately, I think, at the end of the day, I think we're still friends, right?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Like, I would have gone to that link up with you and Doug, but I'm pretty sure I was busy that day, like with work. But,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're coming back to DC, I know, like
I'm in the area.
I'm here for the next 2 years.
Word, I'll be there next year, big man.
Bro. Yo, nah, dog. Ark's my son, bro. I remember Ark being on AGC Young, bro, and I was like his father figure, bro. I remember season 6, and he was calling me dad, bro. And I was like, oh, I got a son, man. I got a little son, and that's when he graduated. I was like, oh man, this is my son, man.
Y'all sus. I'm not even gonna lie.
Bro, no, not all of us, bro.
Okay,
Just that Chris and Ark relationship, bro. That's what's hella sus.
Nah, bro. You know what? I'm muting myself. You know what?
Yeah, bro. My bad. Continue.
All right. Well, Ark, you did win the World Series this season, and congrats for that, man. What do you think was the thing that put you guys over the top to win the 4th game?
The 4th game?
Or to get your 4th win in the series, sorry.
Honestly, like, Xavier definitely was the one who put the nail in the coffin for that game. He hit that 3-run home run, and then he pitched the entire game. And obviously with our outfielding, it was definitely one of the key features for the entire season. But Xavier, he did his part. I'm sure you guys know, like, in the beginning of the postseason, his hitting really wasn't there. We talked about it. He knew he had to be better for the team, and Game 6 is exactly what he did. He proved to everyone that he was a good player, and props to him. But besides, well, I was gonna say, like, besides individual performance though, everyone really played a key factor. Cyber Strike Force, and whenever he wasn't a pitcher, he was always at first base, and he was a decent batter, and he had a good eye. Had tough stuff. Albert, PK, the rookies, they led the backfield or the outfield, and they even got better with their hitting. I know we have this stereotype with old Jenners that they leave, they can't hit. So I know a lot of people say I talked about them a lot, but I think it was just because they were kind of the opposite of what the typical old gen in RBC is, in my personal opinion. So then, Alex, one of the reasons I think Alex is super valuable is not just because of his skill set, but just the way he analyzes the game. He's always telling, the other players what to look for and how a certain player react. He's got a mindset that I've never seen in the RBC. So everyone did their jobs though. It was great.
So, Ark, obviously it was a great season for you. Congrats again on the championship. But again, this question goes for everybody that's going to be coming on, since, again, we all have very special memories. Do you think that this season was maybe one of your favorite memories, or do you have another memory that you think was really like the defining factor that made RBC RBC?
No, this season, being a team owner and creating this team was definitely a pretty good memory. Other than this season itself, I would say the Amazon Jungle Cats. I mean, that's
sir.
never forget. I mean, we went 9 wins and 0 losses, and supposedly lost on purpose because the undefeated record was too much stress. But that was a very fun team. So I think some of my favorite memories though were some of the game nights I would host. Those were pretty fun, and I think most just like outside of RBC hanging out, like not being at the baseball arenas, but like being on other different games and just hanging out and chilling out together.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely for those watching, I'd say stay in the Discord and stuff, because even though the league might be dead, our ability to stay connected and all that stuff, be able to play games with each other,
Get
that's
on there.
like that's still gonna continue for sure. I mean, like after this, if y'all, I mean, I talked to Doug before, but I'm down to get a league Among Us right after, just to keep our camaraderie going.
Speaking of Among Us, I have to dip in a few minutes because my group is on my ass about joining them.
Oh, that's $1 to the swear jar.
Yep, Doug. That's not RBC appropriate, big
I
man.
got him. I was making $20 an hour.
Bro, how can the mission do this to us?
Yeah, come on.
But I know.
All right.
All right.
If that is the case, is that Ark's time up?
Yeah, I think we should move on to our next guest just for time purposes.
Yo,
Yeah.
Ark, you got a minute left, so Ark, anything you want to leave the people with before you go?
Yeah, man. I mean, to everyone, like literally every single person in RBC, I've had a relationship with. It's always been we're at each other's necks, or we're laughing our asses off, and this is the last season. I just want to wish you all the best of luck. And, I'm in the Marine Corps, obviously. So, I mean, if you guys want any advice on military or anything like that, you can hit me up. I know some of you may not be that old. But just, stay safe, stay healthy. And that's it.
Hey, yo, Ark, thanks for
That's
coming,
it.
dog.
Yes,
for
thank
coming
you.
on. We'll get our last guest here for a while. That's going to be welcome
But no,
on.
we got some more guests right after.
Yeah, we got.
Not like
Well,
too
I
many.
okay. I think we should. Let's get.
I mean, y'all
I
can
wanted to do
be
the
mean.
award.
You
I
guys
wanted
can
to
continue.
predict
I'm just gonna-
awards before Doug leaves.
Okay, yeah.
I mean, we can do that after Arc, but like the people that wanted to say something, I don't want to like.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's,
no,
we
definitely
don't have to do that. I think
want
we
to
should just get the awards in before Doug has to go.
Yeah,
Alright.
let's do that real quick before we bring in our next guest.
All right. So
Yeah.
yeah, we'll do that real quick before we bring in our next guest. So, how about let me look at this. Me and Karm take the ML awards, and then Doug and Chris take the RL awards.
Dang, now you get, bro. I like how you use everyone else's screen name besides mine, bro. What is without me getting ostracized?
Well,
Yo, what?
Alright.
nobody else has their actual name as their Discord name.
I guess.
Alright.
Right.
All right, let's kick it off with the ML Ash for.
Yeah, let's just start off with the ones that we know for sure already, though. Doug said himself, Jif isn't winning awards, so that gives the AJ128 VG Slugger Award based on batting average to IA Spartans Chris
Spartan.
himself with a 610 batting average. Very strong performance from him at the bat this season. And then the Dinger Award is to a very unlikely source, in my opinion, Squeaker Rexos. Or I don't know what his
Definitely.
username is now, but he hit 11 home runs, which is
Rip RBC.
kind of funny to me, you know. Just considering that Squeaker begged to get his star rating changed because he quote unquote couldn't hit, and
Wait,
now he posts award-winning
was a-
home run numbers.
I mean,
He's
you know,
a-
shout.
He's the 5-star.
He was a 4.
But I mean,
I'm not back to team.
I was just gonna say, like, big shout out to him because last season he was really just seen as a pitching asset for the World Series winning Mount Adams Knight team. But this season he really managed to grow himself to not only just a pitcher, but really managed to define himself as a strong batting candidate as well.
Yeah, and Squeaker will definitely be a candidate for most improved player in the ML.
Yeah.
As
But
well.
I think his biggest competition regarding that most improved award is Chris himself. I mean,
Yeah, the
if
other
you look
one.
at- if you look at Chris last season, he was batting like .100, didn't really do much with the aces, was kind of just like there to be there, which is like honestly why I kind of recruited him there because I thought he would kind of be helpful, but then he just didn't do anything. But he had a big season.
You know, I still feel like for most improved, we shouldn't really look at people who went for a trough season, because Chris was very strong in seasons like season 8, had almost an MVP performance on the Cougars, leading them to a World Series runner-up. And I mean, his 100 whatever batting probably was more of a fluke than anything, because he only played like 5 games in the regular season. But
And I did play the playoffs too.
yeah, but stats aren't counted for the playoffs, and I don't know how you did then. But I think one of the main candidates for most improved player in the ML is going to be Cyber Strike Force himself.
For sure. I mean, Cyber overall was just absolutely incredible.
Let me pull up the legacy spreadsheet. Just for a little bit of comparison. Last season, Cyber was on the Knights. He definitely had a really strong first half of the season, but he just really dropped off. He ended up with a 375 batting average, which is better than this season, but I think the main place we need to look at is his pitching. Last season, he only pitched a third of an inning, and he got absolutely kicked. He got the teeth kicked in out of him, and he didn't pitch again. This season, 4-1, 1.44 whip, 2.5 ERA, 1.7 KIP. I mean, a 4.45 PEC isn't necessarily something to super flex about, but it's definitely
It's
an
middle of the
improvement
pack.
from nothing, basically.
Yeah. On the subject of Cyber, so I was talking to Doug earlier, and I just confirmed with him now. There most likely will be an infielder player of the year award purely because infield has really managed to define itself as an essential part of the game this year, and you can't really do a Gold Glove award and try and include infielders because the outfielders are just so dominant. And like the outfielders really just run that award, and it's important to be able to recognize the infielders as well. And I think Cyber is definitely one of those top guys who can win the infielder player of the year award for the ML.
Yeah, and I honestly will move with the board of directors to almost definitely name that infield award after Weehawk.
Yeah, for sure.
So can we just go ahead and just call that now that the infield award is going to be called the Weehawk Infielder Award?
Yep. Perfectly fine.
So that's getting put into the spreadsheet as we speak. The Weehawk Infielder Award, the newest award of Season 10. So,
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, Cyber SF, big prediction for that one. Don't really think there was anybody else in particular who absolutely killed it in the infield, especially in the ML.
Yeah, especially on his level.
Yeah, I mean, I'm pretty sure we saw, was it Baramy on NAS who made some really nice plays in the infield, or am I thinking of somebody else?
Baramy and Rock.
Yeah, Baramy and Rockefeller
Baramy,
on
Rock,
NAS
and Finn were my 3 big infielders.
played some really good baseball in the infield during the regular season, especially.
Yeah, I also want to give it a shout out to Bear. He had a great season last season, and I don't think he's not the type of guy that's going to get a ton of recognition, but I think he definitely deserves it. I think he was more than just a role player, and he was able to really help. He's the type of guy that if you have on your team, he's really going to help your team, push into the playoffs and give a great run. in my opinion.
But another thing with Baramy is just his overall star rating this season. I was one of the ones who was advocating for him to be rolled a 3-star, and his decision to become a 2-star by the board was questionable in my personal opinion, and he definitely didn't play like a 2-star this season. Batted .447, 8 home runs. He was tied with Doug for the most home runs on the team and second in RBIs by 1 with 19. He played like a 3 or 4-star in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree. Baramy definitely showed his colors this season, and is definitely a player that if there were ever to be a season 11, he is definitely someone that could make that leap towards an MVP style of play.
Yeah. But other than that, infield Gold Glove, probably going to Cyber. Let's look up the list of awards. The Car Mushroom 2 Ace Award.
I think that's gonna go to Chris.
I'm gonna disagree with you that one. I'm gonna disagree with that too. I'm gonna say it's going to Only King. While he only went 2-3 in the regular season, he has the best whip in the league, the best peck in the league, and I think second overall ERA. And that's league as in the whole RBC. He had the best numbers of any pitcher, and I mean, while his mound presence isn't necessarily as terrifying as Squeaker or Chris, he still put up better numbers than them, especially when it counted in the playoffs.
Well, here's my rebuttal to that is, I feel like this is a very similar argument to me versus Squeaker last season prior to his suspension, where, Squeaker was a very outfield reliant pitcher, and I think that was a very similar case for TJ. No disrespect to his pitching. Definitely one of the top tier pitchers in the league and all time. But again, you got to consider Unionport's outfield tier, which is really what cemented his low PEC and low ERA. When you look at the Kib and his ability to actually, get players out single-handedly and fit into a system, anywhere in the league guaranteed, Squeaker really managed to show himself in that manner, and he posted a 6-1 record.
And even so, Squeaker's Kip is only like 0.5 ahead of Only King, and I mean that's a pretty decent difference, but Squeaker's ERA is a full 2 points below King's. Like, that's a big difference. And even with a statistically inferior outfield at Rock Valley, that is a huge difference. And even with whip, like, he struck out people less often, but overall, he set his team up for success. And the only reason why Only King isn't 5-1 like Squeaker or other people is because his outfield failed him in his games. The fact that his record is that low and he still has these astounding stats is just a testament to how he is as a pitcher.
Well, you actually just proved my point by saying, he has that 2-3 record because of his outfield. And, you also just mentioned Rock Valley has an inferior outfield compared to Unionport. And the fact that Squeaker still managed to get a 6-1 record, you can talk whip and ERA as much as you want. But again, he had an inferior outfield, so when a ball was actually hit, it was harder for him to ensure that they were going to be out, ensure that they were not going to be able to get a run. And Squeaker, in his efficiency and being able to single-handedly make the plays needed in order to get the game finished, to me is more valuable than having a guy on the mound who, well, again, no disrespect to TJ, but is relying more on his outfield to truly get the job done.
No, I still disagree on that one.
Again, I mean, we can continue going back and forth, but I think ultimately, it's really just going to come down to the moment of the award where, those are definitely going to be the two biggest names. It's going to be TJ versus Squeaker.
Yeah, and I mean, if I'm like, I'm just going to put it this way. If I'm picking a team and I'm trying to build a team that's going to win, I'm not going to pick the guy who throws home runs every few innings. I'm going to pick the guy that feeds my outfield very well, and I'm going to pick the guy that shuts down the offense when I need them to. I don't care how reliant you are on an outfield, a whip under 0.8 is just astounding. I would kill for that stat. And just the fact that he was able to do that is incredible. Like, if we look at it, Only King's strikeout to hits allowed ratio is over 2. Squeaker's is like 1.5. That's just my case for that. But let's move on.
Keep going, just because I'm doing something in real life right now.
Well, I mean that's my whole point for that. Let's move on to the leadership award. I think it's pretty easy to give this one to Ark. I mean, Chris definitely made a valiant effort there in the end, and so did Doug. But I think the one that made the most moves and the most things needed to keep his team in front and not get suspended while doing so was Ark. So I think that one's just kind of a gimme for him. As for the MVP, I think this one will probably go to Chris. What about you? Well, he's still
I
doing
think he said
something.
he had to do stuff
Yeah.
in real life.
All right, I'll finish up this segment myself then. I'm just gonna say, Chris batted .610, best in the league. Led his team in that. Wasn't quite the leader in RBIs, but he was definitely up there. Well, he led his team other than Jiff, but I think in terms of carrying his team, he was the one individual out of any of these ML teams that had the most spunk. And I mean, Doug definitely had a bid. He batted over 500, but there were a lot of players on that team who definitely had the same presence at the plate that he did, like Guest Rizzo, Caden, and Baramy all alike. And with the Suns, there really,
plate appearance though.
yeah, there
He
really
only showed for
wasn't.
about 4 games.
There wasn't a player on the Suns who really just stood out individually. I mean, that was just a really well-rounded team, so I don't think any of them specifically can really say MVP. When I look for the most valuable player to their team in the ML, I say Chris, but that's just me. All right, you guys can take over for the RL now.
I'm gonna
All
let
right,
Sport cover it because I don't want to give away who I'm thinking of because that's kind of a preview.
as the guy picking the awards, he'll be kind of
Yeah.
like set in stone in whatever he guesses at. So I guess I'll take these. They didn't do. I'm not sure if they did Rookie of the Year, but it's obviously the Rookie of the Year for the Metro League is going to be, and I think it's also the same for the Robloxing League. It has to be Duke. Duke has contributed so much to that West Virginia outfield, and not only that, like he was able to contribute a little bit towards the plate as well. But I think he, the fact that Josh surrounded with like literally sometimes delayed games just because of a rookie proves that he has to be Rookie of the Year. Come on now. Weehawk Infielder Award. I mean, it has to go to the guy. It's named after Weehawk. He played on that traded late to that West Virginia team.
All right, I'm back.
He was traded late to that West Virginia team, and he played like phenomenal. Even when he was on UPS, I remember several games I played against him where it's like I hit a ball, he catches it. Oh, okay, great. I go back up again. Oh, he double played, great. It's like you couldn't hit towards him because he was just literally a magnet towards the ball at that shortstop position. Dime Award. I think this is kind of controversial because a lot of people you'll be thinking I would say Duke, but I'm gonna have to give it to Ash. I think Ash was, throughout the whole season, I think he was a more reliable center fielder or a more reliable outfielder. Yes, Duke was remarkable at what he did, but he was also not as accurate as maybe Ash or even as his fellow rookie Tough was. He would get it there in the fast pace, but it wasn't like, even though it wasn't like 100% or like 95%, maybe it was like 80, 85%. But he still get the job done. The two awards that we already know have won and is the Broken Elias for West Virginia has won the Ryan XVI Dean Award, and the AJ Slugger Award, yes, is won by Ash Limmer from the Charlotte Bandits. Now that Ace Award, I believe it has to go to one of the Charlotte Bandits. Let's pull up these stats here.
I'm just gonna pitch in on this one. I am more inclined to give it to AJ.
Hey, don't sleep on me. I'm hurt.
Let's look at these stats.
You can. It's between Ash, AJ, and Carm, in my opinion.
And that, yes, it is. I think if you look at the stats, yes, Ash has the higher, a lot more Ks, less hits per loud, with more earned runs, more walks. That's why he has a higher ERA, but a higher KP. But I think, in all honesty, maybe AJ could win this award as well. I think it's gonna be between one of the Bandits, honestly. He 10 more hits allowed, but Ash had double the ERAs, even though he almost had double the Ks, and he had more than double the base on ball. AJ was the better, I guess in the case that they used, he was the better hitter to his outfield. Even though his outfield maybe not as good as UPS's, and it kind of shows in his hit allowed, AJ was the better pitcher that relied on his outfield. He didn't get, as you see, a lot of Ks, didn't get a lot of walks. He pitched the ball and put him in good spots for his outfield to make easy plays.
Yo, Chris, not to like push you along, but we're a little bit over an hour, so I want to just try and get another guest.
I'll end this off real quickly. Sorry. Leadership Award. I think I think it's tough. Josh has a good case for it because he led his team to World Series. A lot of toxicity from him. I mean, a little bit of toxicity from him may take him away from that award, but I think Ashton also has a good case for that award. MVP, I think it has to go to Broken Lions. Broken easily showed that he was, again, like Ash said, the most important player to his team. Most improvement, I can't really think on that top of my head, and I'm gonna pass that for the sake of time.
Can
but
I pitch in on that?
Go ahead.
I think it's Weehawk because, last season he was kind of just like an average player, just, another role player. But after this season, the man got an award named after himself for completely redefining the infield position.
True.
I don't know about that one though. Weehawk, he literally batted better last season than he did this season. And I mean, his infield has always been there. It just kind of got accentuated by the new tool system. In terms of concrete improvement, I don't really think Weehawk got that much better.
So, I mean, who would you consider most improved then?
Straight up kicker.
Kicker
Went from
cannot be most
a
improved because
shoddy
he was a rookie.
listen, let me speak for a second. Kicker in every season he's played in the RBC has never batted better than 150. This season,
I forgot he played before.
This season, he batted 433 in 30 at bats. That's more at bats than multiple people on the Mountaineers had on the season. Like, that's a solid number of at bats first off, and not only that, he batted 433. That's a better batting average in sample size than JS by a bit. Then, I mean, he just outperformed a lot of people on a really, really bad team. So if I had to pick somebody who's the most improved, who went from a nobody to a somebody this season, I'd say kicker.
All right, thank you.
But
all right, so I think that wraps up the awards section. So let's bring on our next guest.
That's for MVP. What?
Before
Okay, yeah.
Thank you guys for joining the stream. I myself have to leave. I wish I could stay for Garrett, but I'm being yelled at over here.
Wow, you just spoiled. You just.
But
All right,
thank you guys for all this, and I will see you guys at the award ceremony.
all right,
See you
thank you,
guys.
Doug.
By the way, just to let everyone know, we will try to give as many people the opportunity to come on and speak. Me as well as Carm we'll try to get as many people on, try to stay as long as we can. But I think maybe Doug might fiddle out and maybe Ash might fiddle out as we go on. But just know that we're going to try to get you all in here. But continue with the introduction.
So the next guest, right-hand man to Los and his World Series winning team. Let's bring on the man himself, Garrett.
What's up?
Welcome.
How are we, big man?
I'm doing okay. You guys will have to stick with me here. I got allergies during allergy season. It's been a terrible 24 hours for me. But I'll stick it out.
Love to hear it. Love to hear that grit and determination to play through it. What a champ. So, for me, my first question for you is, this was a very different season compared to last season when you were on Unionport. How do you feel about, your time throughout RBC when, a lot of your time in RBC was, spent with struggling teams and a lot of frustration, and then finally being able to cap off your RBC career with a World Series win?
It was good. It was actually kind of like the first team I've ever been on where I'm like, oh, I don't got to carry 100% of the weight. And usually on the past teams that I've been on, it feels like on defense I'm like the top guy, but on UPS this year it was like I was like not even the fifth best guy on defense, but it was great. And owning Unionport last season was a struggle. I mean, we had the talent at some points during season 9, but we could never just get them to show up and commit to the season. So that's just kind of how it was.
And on top of that, you have obviously been, a great outfield player, but with so many additions in terms of outfield, how did you manage to transition yourself away from outfield and really give the rookies more space to perform?
I think I became a better batter, even though in season 8 when I was with the Gladiators is when I really went off on at bats and hit it. But I think I developed myself as a better batter on UPS this year. Just I didn't have that very many strikeouts, and I think I only got struck out once in the World Series. So, um, but I even when I was in the outfield, I was making sure I was giving space, to Tough. If I saw that, you know, the ball is getting gapped between me and Tough, and and he's coming over, I'm gonna give him the space because I know he's gonna make the play. So just having that was kind of nice this year for sure.
And what would you say was your most fond memory through RBC, or maybe something that you learned um, from RBC?
I think the biggest thing I learned is that in order to be a successful team owner, you have to be very involved with the community and be, you know, a notable person to everyone around because, if you build friendships with people here, it's easier to get them on their team and easier to manage and keep the glue together with the team owner and the team. So I think that was the biggest thing I learned. And even even on UPS these last 2 years or even this year, I wasn't a head coach or a team owner, but I still felt like I had a leadership role whenever Arc was not there.
And right. So in real life, if just stop me here if you don't want me to go to, but I know that you do a lot of racing. So I'm curious about, like how has that been for you recently? Do you still plan on, doing that after? Just how's that going for you as a whole?
Yeah, I mean, I still plan on to do it, and I can't wait to start focusing a lot more time to it. And it's a long shot dream, but you only live once, so you might as well go for the crazy dreams that you want to do.
Is that something that like you're looking to, follow as a full-time career?
I hope so. Just it's all a matter of catching the breaks. Catching the breaks that you want, um, and building relationships with the right people. I think that's what it majorly comes down to, rather than being able to just drive the wheels off a race car.
All
And
right.
the final question, just to end off everything, as we said, we're gonna ask everyone, what do you think is your fondest memory or best thing you taken from RBC?
I mean, I had a lot because like I was recruited by AJ in season 3 to play on Charlotte with Ash and AJ, and then I went and was a head coach with AJ on West Virginia in season 4, and then getting to be on NAS, for a couple seasons, especially in season 7.2, even though we weren't good that year, it was still kind of cool to play for him, and then to get to be able to own a team, to own the Gladiators and the Suns, and then be a part of the championship team on the season 10 Suns. So it was all in all there was a lot of good memories.
Well, thank you so much for your time, Garrett. Again, I wish you the best of luck with your racing career. I thank you again so much for coming on.
Yep, my pleasure. Take
All
care,
right,
guys.
thank you. For our next guest, after having a couple guys from UPS, we are going to hear from the man who is leading the West Virginia team. Please welcome on. Hi, Josh.
Hello.
Welcome, buddy.
Hello.
Yo, what's good?
How you doing, man? First of all,
Doing good, dog. How are you?
I'm doing excellent, man. I'm glad that we were able to host and hear from voices we don't hear from every day.
Yeah, that's good. I'm just glad to be on here.
I guess the first question is, man, I think that a lot of people don't give you the credit, as someone who's been in this league for a while, and you've seen a lot of things come and go. I think sometimes that people just maybe look down on you because of your toxicity, man. But I think that you're one of the maybe not one of the most cunning people in this league, man. I just want to talk to you and see what do you think was.
Yo, hold the fuck up. How the fuck did he even get behind the desk?
Okay, but let's skip that, bro. But how do you think? What do you think was the so important, or what was the most impactful part of being able to make the World Series?
Wait, hold on. What did you say? Repeat that.
I was saying, what do you think was the most impactful part, or what was how were you able to like make the World Series when a lot of people didn't think you weren't, especially starting the season?
Honestly, I gotta give major credit to my trades. Basically, the trades like I did throughout the regular season kind of helped me and my team get to the World Series. Like bringing Broken Elias to the squad with Carm, Weehawk, a few other players like JS, Tyler Priest. Like when I got all them players, I don't know, they just like helped shape my team and help us get to the World Series.
Josh, and for me, I'm curious. You started off season 2, and you were definitely young, somewhere in middle school, I'd say around then. And you were my first interaction when I ever in RBC. I came to the Aces Superdome, and I like was asking like, "Yo, can I play? Can I try out?" And you were just like trashing me, and that personalities kind of continued to now. But how would you like ultimately? Besides that, I've definitely seen some growth within you. So, like, how would you say that you've grown over time with RBC, as in maturity and all that stuff?
I mean, not gonna lie. I mean, I don't know. It's just like it's like on and off. Like I don't know. Like sometimes I'll just like I don't know. Like one big thing that killed me and like made a lot of people frustrated with me was my toxicity. And I know I could have controlled that. I know I should have. I should have controlled it, but it was just like so hard. I mean, I tried to fix it over the course of my
Well,
career in RBC. It was just kind of hard, but
well,
like I just let that go now.
Well, you know what, bro? I mean, like, I want to give you props for that. Being able to just identify that and being able to realize, okay, like I was toxic a little bit. Instead of learning that lesson, later on in life when it, actually started to matter, you were able to pick up on that now and be able to, help, identify that, and hopefully you're able to, take that lesson and help develop it, like as you go along, with your future and wherever you go in life. All right. So
Oh,
what?
sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're good. You're good.
I was gonna just say because we have a lot of people going on here, so I was gonna want to say so just to wrap things up, what do you think's your best most important memory or most impactful thing you RBC has done to your life?
And probably my most, I don't know, probably this season. This season just made a lot of memories. Like there's a lot of stuff that happened throughout this season that it was like that could be so memorable.
Well, I mean, you're saying that there's a lot of memorable things. Is there like one specific thing or a couple of things that really, define this season as a special one for you?
Uh, mm, I don't know. It's just like I don't know. I mean,
You,
one most memorable. I can't speak. One most memorable thing was probably the Broken trade because like me and Broken throughout the course of RBC just became really close. Like we become very good friends, and that's just gonna be very memorable for me at least.
all right. Well, thank you, Josh, for coming on. I appreciate it. And, have a great rest of your night, man.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. So, as we move on to our next guest, I just want to mention, including our next guest, we will have 3 more, just so you guys,
Four more.
um,
Four more.
hold on.
4 more.
All right, we have some more guests. Prior, um, we so yeah, we're just gonna go through them and then we're gonna wrap this stream up. For those that wanted to say something tonight but didn't have the opportunity to, I promise you, we will figure out a way for you to be able to voice yourself.
Yeah,
Make sure
we're
that you
gonna.
get heard because to me, I mean to all of us, RBC as a whole was very defining for because a lot of us grew up with it. So we definitely want to hear what you guys have to say. But
I want to try to get another stream going. If not tomorrow, maybe in the next couple of days coming up because I want to hear. We know here for everyone.
yeah, we will figure something out so that everybody gets heard. But our next guest is VX Alex.
Yo, what's going on, guys?
What's up, man? How we doing?
We're
Good
doing
year,
all
bro.
right. A little
Captain.
tired, but what about you guys?
I'm doing
doing
great, dog.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God. Okay, I guess Alex, you've been in this league for I don't say. I guess you've been in and out. I know you started probably a little earlier, maybe as a just a low key name for a couple games, and then you left, and you came back, gave a bigger presence later on in the year, season 6, season 7, season 8, season 9, and coming on now. What do you think? What do you think was the How do you think you improved from the guy who was on AJ's team to the guy to like the guy who wins back-to-back MVP awards
And back-to-back World Series too.
and back-to-back World Series?
Well, I have 3 straight, but yeah.
Oh wow, here we go.
My bad.
No worries. I really think I'd improve in the facet, not really team building. I haven't really, if I'm going to be honest, I haven't improved as a person either. I've still been a massive dickhead sometimes, but
You're honest.
nah, I mean, I'd like to think, I've taken a few things like, finding value in things that other people don't. People counted out that season 9 team just because a lot of the names weren't there. Of course we had AJ there, but we took a lot of people, we found some value in them, and they produced something like like finding value in something that not many other people hold in high regards. I'd also say season 8, I kind of, in my life really, during season 8, I kind of adopted a philosophy more of staying laid back. I really saw what AJ did, and I really like how he handled himself as a person outside of like the game, just talking to him, like really great guy. Just adopted a little bit of that philosophy in my everyday life, and it's working pretty well so far. Be a little more observant, work things out.
Yeah, that's good to hear. So like we just mentioned, you've won 3 straight World Series. Is there any out of those 3, which one would you say was the most memorable or like your favorite?
My favorite for sure is season 8 because I was bad. I got carried. But it's definitely an interesting perspective to to rely on your teammates to the extent. It was more of, we were underdogs too. It's the only time I remember being an underdog in this league considerably. Weren't expected to even get past Charlotte, and we did. And people counted us out from day one, but learning experience, never give up. Even though learned that plenty of times in life from other people, but it was a great example.
Yeah, you weren't. I guess knowing just you and your stats, I guess season 8. Yeah, like you said, you weren't a big name. Like you weren't as big as you were season 9, season 10.
Yeah, I mean I was the carry guy in center field, but
yeah, but everyone
hitting
else,
wise,
you're like just a normal dude.
Yeah,
you're just Ashen champion.
Bro, nah, chill. That's disrespect. That's disrespect. That wasn't released.
And maybe the last thing. So what you again? Probably, maybe just the World Series again. But what has been one of your fondest memories you think of RBC?
I'd say besides, meeting people that I'm not, I don't always talk to everybody in this league on a daily basis, like the ones that I'm close to. But, if there's a real problem, there's people with certain skill sets that really, sometimes could help me out if I ever had a question. I've definitely asked, I think I've asked a few people what to do, like in real life if I had a problem, but something I can take with me. I really appreciate that from everybody. I don't have to, be extremely tight with someone. Like I don't have to message them every day, but you guys are still here for me if I have a problem. Give me some good advice because I'm still really young, man. I'm like the youngest person in this thing.
Yeah. Not everyone believes you, but you're literally like, you might sound 20, but you're like, I know you're younger than 18,
like 13, 14.
Yeah, bro.
Like, bro, that took me by surprise knowing that you and Squeaker were similar age. I'm like, no way, that's possible. No way.
No.
Yeah, because when you look at Squeaker, you think of a typical.
No, bro, this is voice. I can't take him seriously. Bro, my guy goes out there, he throws 1 ERA seasons, and it's like he let up like 5 runs an entire season, and he comes into the voice call. He's like, "What's up, guys?" I'm like, bro.
Well, Alex, thanks for coming on, man, and
thanks for having me, boys.
That you contributed to the.
Yep. Have a good night, guys.
Hey, you do as
well.
Have
a good one. Oh, wait, Alex, I got one last question for you.
Yeah, bro, what's up?
how are you feeling for Night City Wire episode 4?
Yo,
2
I'm
days.
dead, bro. I've been listening to the music, bro. My Spotify has that like samurai shit on all the time. Bro, dude, I'm so excited. I have my disk drive cleared up. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to sit my ass down 40 straight hours, skipping
what?
school.
What is this?
All right, well, for those that are confused,
way
a
from the
game
game.
called Cyberpunk 2077.
Cyberpunk's coming. I forgot.
People who
Um,
don't know about it are uncultured swines.
Yeah,
I forgot
pretty
about
much,
that.
pretty much that's what we're referencing here. But again,
When does it come out?
November, Night City Wire, which is
I
like
need
their
to buy-
episode stuff, like
I need
to
to buy it.
introduce
I need
us
to
to
buy
the
it. I
game.
need to buy it. Oh, Chuck, I need
Is
to
in
buy
2
it.
days. But anyway, Alex, thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah,
I
thanks
appreciate
for having
your
me
time.
on, guys. Have a good night.
Of course, have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
All right. Next, flipping it back to the World Series, we have possibly the MVP of the RO League and what my other half of the two Black MVPs. We have Broken Alliance. Welcome to the show, sir.
Yo.
How are we, big man?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Mick chillin', bro.
Yep.
Yeah, so Broken, overall, because I've kind of watched you over your career, man. Season 8 was I think the year you kind of came on the map. Season 8, you were a big component of the Omaha winning that World Series behind Crazy and AJ, because
Yeah.
not everyone needed to do it themselves. In Season 9, you kind of improved on that. You led along with Ash, you led RBC to that championship, inevitably losing. But even coming into this season, you were probably, without doubt, the MVP of the league. How do you think you've grown in just a short maybe like a year time in those three? In that basically a year.
I always wanted to, push myself to my limits. Season 9, I had a good season last season, but I was pretty toxic. I'm not gonna lie, I almost got exiled from the league. I remember that. But I
You're
always
welcome.
wanted. Yeah, thanks. But I always wanted to improve. I always want to push myself to the limits. I don't ever think that good is always good enough for me. This season I set out to break a record, but shortly that fell short. It was a shame that we didn't win the World Series. With a great team around me and High Josh, Duke, plenty others like Hyro and Weehawk.
Wow.
And Carm. Sorry, I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry, Carm. And Carm, of course. I can't forget about my homeboy. But
My homeboy.
but I really can't pin all the success on me. It's people around me that have helped me train. Ash has helped me. Carm has helped me.
I got him into the league.
Duke has helped me. And I will actually shout out to Crazy. He brought me into RBC. Without him, I wouldn't even be talking right now, or even be knowing about this. And props to Doug, for standing up on my BS for these past few seasons, being being like an immature little brat. But and AJ too, I can't forget about him. Yeah, a lot of influential people, helped me throughout my RBC career. I can't thank them enough. Like you guys probably. Without you guys, I probably wouldn't be on this grand stage, being in consideration for twice a year right now. Being like a part of the MVP race, I'm really blessed, I'm happy that other people around me have really supported me throughout my career. And I don't really want to, pin this all on myself. I want to help. I want to thank all the other people around me because, they've helped me get here. And yeah.
Yeah. I remember the day. What was your first team? Williamsport?
Yeah, Williamsport Crosscutters.
Yeah.
I remember the first game vividly.
Bro, I remember the days that you were still Rock 2009.
Yeah, Rock 2009. Yeah, my old username.
I gotta ask, since you weren't born in 2009, why was your username 2009?
Fun fact, in 4th grade, this kid named Spencer, right, I saw him playing Roblox, the Slender game on Roblox. I was like, hey, I want to make a Roblox account. And he said, first we need to create an account. I was like, okay. He said, so he just made up a random, word, which is rocks. And then he made up a random year, 2009. That's how I got it. But then, I eventually changed it to this trash name, xbroken_lies. I'm changing that soon. I swear to God I am.
Who is Elias? Is that your longtime girlfriend?
Oh.
Or potentially your boyfriend?
Wow. No, it's a WWE gimmick. I used to row wrestle, still kind of do. Now Yeah, it's cringy, I know, but
We all have
but
faith.
you know, I swear to God, I'm gonna change this name soon. When I get like 1,000 Robux, I'm changing my name because this name is tacky as fuck. I'm not even gonna lie.
Hold
Um,
on. Hold
I
on,
know
hold
we
on,
just
hold on.
were broken, but like,
Well,
we
hold on, hold on. There's one
sorry.
thing that I want to bring up. Ash, if you're able to put this photo on the screen for me, I'm about to send it to you. But this is something that we can never forget as a memory with Broken. Um, Ash, are you able to get that on the screen?
Sure.
All right. So, for those of you who know who Quackity is, he is a YouTuber with somewhere like
Yeah,
2 million.
I know what
Let
you're
me finish.
talking
Let me
about.
finish. Let me finish. Around 2
Oh,
million
I saw this, yo.
subscribers.
That's great.
He had 2 million subscribers, and he went in. Quackity went on to Roblox and started like making fun of all these Roblox groups that were like military and all that stuff. And guess who we found in this video? The big man himself, Broken Elias, being clowned by a professional YouTuber.
Yeah,
That is something that we can never ever forget. Never forget.
yeah.
Now, bro, do you want to try and defend yourself on that, Broken?
Yeah. So I'm not gonna lie. I was in a lot of real military groups. That was like an Air Force group. I was bored, so I joined. And then I actually didn't find out until Carm pinged me. He told me to check out this video. He said you're in. And I was like, I'm not in it. And then as soon as I went to that part of the video, I see myself. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, what the hell? I didn't even know that they were recording at the time. That was ridiculous. Like yeah, small things that count. Really,
Yeah.
yeah, really grateful for that opportunity. And yeah.
Well, last question, buddy. So what again? Like we asked everyone, what do you think is your best memory, most fond memory of this?
I have two. During the season 9 World Series, this man Ash during Game 7, bro, he was pressed as fuck. I swear to God, I've never seen Ash Lemmer that mad. That was just funny. Like I'm not even gonna lie. During Game 7 of the season 9 World Series, bro, Lord have mercy, this man Ash Lemmer was about to kill himself. It was ridiculous. He was pissed.
Yeah, I mean,
He was.
I was pretty pissed off that the guy who's about to win Rookie of the Year kind of threw the World Series, but that's neither here nor there. I'm past it.
But then again, and another great moment was when I hit a walk-off home run to win the World Series, of course, against your team. Spart, yeah. Okay, Alex, I see how it is. But I'm really happy. I'm just grateful for what I've been able to do in RBC. Really happy for people around me. I couldn't make it here without other people. And yeah, thank you.
All right. Thank you, Broken.
Yep.
Before our last and final guest comes on, I want to just tell everyone who wants to get on the show, this is not our last podcast for sure.
Well, I wouldn't say that. We will figure something out
No,
to make sure that
I'm
everyone
telling
gets
you
heard.
that even if I had to, I would host a podcast so all of you can speak and have video evidence on YouTube of you having your fondest memories put out on the internet. So, even if I needed to do it by myself, I will make sure that people that didn't get to talk on this podcast or will be able to come talk, because I know everyone wants to share their opinions out to everybody else, and everyone wants to be heard. So I'll make sure you get that chance.
All right. Well, our last guest for tonight is Ash's partner in crime for several seasons, part of the original Charlotte Bandits group in season 3 that consisted of me, AJ, Ash, and Peyton, which, if we were in our prime, would definitely have gotten Ash a ring. Let's welcome on AJ.
Bro, I hate this guy, bro. I freaking hate this guy with a
What's
passion,
up?
bro. This dude stole 2 weeks. I hate this guy, bro. Kill him off.
First off, thanks to Broken for his service.
First service to the Air Force.
Thank you, Broken, for defending our air, bro. I don't know what we would do without you.
Bro, without you, I might have to spend all that money with O'Hare Air, bro. Damn.
Anyway,
Thank you for defending the air.
Thanks, bro.
No problem.
Without you.
All right, but seriously, AJ, so since season 3, when you were the pitching coach on Charlotte, you came a long way, building up the Omaha Flyers, winning back-to-back World Series, with an underdog team, that being in the Omaha Flyers. What was that experience like going from Charlotte all the way to Omaha to, ending your season back at Charlotte?
And it feels like such a long time ago that season 3 was, around. I just joined the league, of course, and just looking for any team to play on. So I ended up at Charlotte. Didn't think I was gonna end up being, as good as I was, both as a player and both as a coach. But that goes credit, Ash, you, Peyton, a lot of different people.
Yeah.
One,
My bad.
sorry, but
No, you're good.
in RBC we have a couple brothers. We have Ash and Torn, maybe the most notified one. But if not, people may not know that you and Crazy Time are brothers as well. Could you maybe explain to the audience how it is to have a brother in RBC, and even how better your brothership and how you and your brother are better than maybe Ash and his brother?
I don't know if we're better. I mean, we have more rings than both of them.
Combined.
Yeah. But yeah, playing with Crazy, he's always been a coach for me for whenever we've been on the same team, and we just kind of coach the same way. And at certain points in our career, he's been actually better than me. So
no one can
like
forget
this
season. Crazy Time.
Yeah.
Jesus, doesn't the season 8 Crazy have like the best kip ever? I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, he has the best kip of all time. AJ, what would you say was your best memory from RBC? Because I know that you definitely have a lot of great memories.
And I don't remember most things before season 5 really. So recently, probably season 8. That was a fun team. Got a lot of players that are still really good. Broken, Alex, he was on that team. Meme's not that good, but he was on that team too.
Bro, do you get you solid?
Yeah, he's a role player. Who else was on that team? I guess Ashton was on that team for a little bit. He got released though.
I also just want to add on to it, like for those that don't really know, a lot of the MVPs in recent seasons, and the players that have really taken over the game as of recent were players that originally started to shine with AJ's West Virginia team. Alex and Broken being the two biggest names from that team, which that's really when they started to define themselves. And AJ, so I'm kind of curious, how does it feel being able to see those players that you really helped develop grow into what they are now?
I think with the Omaha team, it's been interesting to see how the players have developed. Alex, Broken are probably the two most notable. I think it just goes back to teaching basics and just teaching them how to be good team players. And then they learned a lot of their skills even past Omaha that made them MVPs. I think just continuing that same team spirit past onto other leagues, carrying that on.
Yeah, but not only did you develop a couple people, but I'm kind of a hater of yours, so I have to denounce you a little bit. You also developed some of the worst toxicity in this league, as in Gustavo the GOAT.
I didn't develop him, but okay.
Ashton Champion.
Ashton Champion was
a pure product of the Boston Warriors and Row Racing.
Boston Warriors were not a toxic team. Season 4. Boston Warriors were not built as a toxic team. They were built off needing players to play.
Honestly, in my opinion, I think he actually was less toxic on Omaha.
I think you're right. He was still annoying, but he was just annoying compared to the other Omaha players.
Yeah.
Not nearly as bad as he was on Boston.
I don't talk about Thomas. That was crazy.
He's like your kid.
What about Flacco? Flacco earlier today said that he deserved a spot in the World Series in the Hall of Fame. Actually,
I think Gustavo deserves it more than him, dog. Come on, Gustavo changed the whole freaking rule book to you're gay. No,
Oh,
that's a bigger
okay,
topic.
okay.
Go
Okay,
ahead.
because I didn't even remember who Gustavo was until you mentioned that. But
Thomas
for those
Hawk, bro.
yeah, I know. I was just gonna say like Thomas Hawk. I central for those that were a little bit older and kind of forgot that he became Gustavo. All right, well, AJ, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Chris and Ash, is there any final note you'd like to say before we finish off this podcast?
Well, just in case I don't come back on the next podcast, just like to say RBC has been great. I personally am one of the people who believes that this should be it, and we should just put the league to rest here. I think it's time personally, but I know a lot of people are trying to keep it going, but I just think we should leave RBC to rest and just go home from here, basically. But it's been a wonderful thing for me. It's been a wonderful thing for a lot of people, and I'm just glad it made it this far.
Yeah, Chris, any final words?
Being in this league for like the entire duration it's been here, I almost feel like along with Doug, this is kind of like my child as well, because I've seen people come and go. I've seen people enter, become great. I've just seen everything under the sun almost with this league, and I believe this, like Ash just said, I believe season 10 will be a great place, to end it off, because not only is 10 just a great landmark, it's also the fact that me, Doug, and a lot of others are just, at the point of life where, we have to move on. We're at the point where some of the younger kids, like maybe Ash and and Karn, they're about to leave college soon, about to start college, and things like that come important. But even like me, I'm starting, I'm about to leave nursing school in a year, and Doug's about to get through the architect school, and people in the military, and we're just we're branching. It's a time where we need to leave childish things behind, and this is one of the childish. I'm not saying it's not childish, but this is one of the things we must leave behind, in order to move forward with life. But
yeah.
Again, I'm thankful for everyone I've interacted with in this league, because a lot of you may like crack jokes at me, call me the N-word all the time, but it's always been fun, man. Like all of you have contributed something to my life, and I'm always be happy with that. And for those who are not able to speak, man, I'll make sure that even if Ash or Karm or whoever can't stream, I'll even take time away from my time, away from my day, just to let you all speak, because I feel like you all have say in what RBC has become, and I believe you all contributed that, and it's what you deserve.
Yeah, for my final words, I just want to say, a lot of things that, a recurring theme was, the camaraderie and, friendships built. So, like, honestly, like, even, like, a year from now, for those, that, have something going on and just need someone to talk to, Chris and Ash can both testify. I've gone through a lot of shit, so, you guys are always welcome to come talk to me about anything, because, again, I've seen a lot, I've been through a lot, and I'm not even at college yet. And a lot of things I've been through are things that like adults have to go through and stuff. And so, you guys are always welcome to come and talk to me about stuff. And that's the very final note. I'm starting an Among Us game that we can run if y'all want to come and join.
I'm playing Siege.
The code is BIOWQQ. And on that note, I think we should end.
All right, love you all, bro.
All right, thank you.
See y'all soon.
Peace. All right, Ash, we off?
All right, well, yeah, thank you all for watching.
Wait, you said the code is BIQWOO?
BIWQQ.
We can get back to the Among Us game in the RBC Discord.
Yeah,
thank you all for watching, and just have a good night, everybody.
Rewind it if you need the code.
Yeah, have a good